happens. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, I'm Rachael Herron, and this is my book that came out in 2015, Splinters of Light from Penguin. I've got a new one coming out in April 2016 called The Ones That Matter Most, but I'm going to read you a little bit from this. I don't think you need a preamble, so let's just jump into it. This is from chapter 8. The doctor herself was as pretty as the office, with blonde bob and a manner so warm Nora thought she might have missed her calling as a preschool teacher. She could picture Dr. Niles bending down to stick a SpongeBob Band-Aid on a 6-year-old, receiving kisses that smelled of peanut butter. She would be careful with germs and keep one of those tiny plastic bottles of Purell in the front pocket of her adorable smock, which she would wear unironically. Dr. Niles leaned back in her chair. She steepled her fingers. In an older doctor, this would have come across as pensive or knowledgeable. Instead, she looked like a child playing in a leather chair too big for her small body. "You came by yourself today?" "You're scaring me," Nora said with a smile. Maybe this would make the young doctor laugh and realize that she was being too serious. "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to frighten you. It's just really no big deal. It's nothing at all." Instead, the doctor said, "We found something." The words were blurted out rapidly as if the doctor didn't know what else to do with them. "You have early onset Alzheimer's." Nora laughed at the words, relief soaking her like warm water. It was just a mistake. "No, I'm 44. Dr. Niles' voice was tight as she said, "Early onset is a different beast, I'm afraid." "I don't understand. I don't have Alzheimer's. I'm 44. She would tell the doctor her job. That was always a good idea. Dr. Niles reached forward, touching her papers again. Nora's papers. Her tongue darted out and wet her lips, and Nora realized the doctor was nervous, maybe even more so than Nora was. In some unfortunate cases, it can start as early as the mid-30s, and I hate telling you this. I've actually never run across it in my practice, and I've been up late the last 2 nights at home researching. Nora pictured her, propped up in bed with her laptop. She would wear a peach negligee, something sheer enough to please her new husband, but decent enough to wear to the kitchen to make coffee. Nora used to have one like it, in cream. Dr. Niles would sit in bed, distracted by the sound her husband made gargling mouthwash. She would read about Nora, about what was apparently in her blood, in her body, and she would read about how to get it out. "What's your name? What's your first name?" Nora asked her. It was suddenly incredibly important that she know what her husband called her in the middle of the night when he rolled over and found her ear next to his lips. Nora must have known it, must have heard it on one of the first visits, but it had dropped out of her mind. It had dropped all the way out. "Susan," the doctor said. Her eyebrows came together and her mouth wobbled for a split second. Her husband called her Susie. Nora knew he did. Nora picked up her purse, which she'd left thoughtlessly at her feet as if she wouldn't need it. She took out her moleskin and her favorite pen, the Burgundy Mont Blanc she bought herself the first time her book hit the New York Times. She would make particular, careful notes, and then this young doctor would fix her. Not a problem. "What does this diagnosis mean for me, Susan?" To Nora's horror, Susie's mouth wobbled harder. She pressed 2 fingers against her lip. "Oh God, I'm so sorry. This has never happened to me before." She spun in her huge leather chair so she was completely hidden, a child playing hide and seek. Only Nora, the seeker, was more goddamn terrified than she'd ever been in her life. 10 seconds later, when the doctor spun back around, she was normal again. The only telltale sign of any emotion, a slight glassy sheen in her cornflower eyes. Her lips were steady. She placed both hands flat on top of the papers on her desk. She looked directly at Nora, sizing her up. Nora made a reckless, unnecessary line on the blank page as if she had something to note. "It means you have an incredibly rare, familial, curable, fatal disease that we hate to diagnose in anyone." Nora wrote the unacceptable words slowly, one by one. Rare, familial, incurable, fatal. "I'm so sorry," pretty Susie said. And that's it. Thank you.